Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Naughty Dog just released a new state of play, which I thoroughly enjoyed if I'm being honest. The gameplay and the graphics and some of the action moves look absolutely stunning, and despite stuff that's happened with the spoilers, of which there will be none in this game, I am very much excited to play this game in about 3 weeks time. And today I want to go over a theory that a lot of people have been speculating about ever since the release of the state of play about a week ago. In the recent state of play, we get to follow our main character Ellie as she searches for a girl named Nora, whose resemblance to Riley has caused people to speculate that she might be related to Riley, her best friend that was introduced to us a couple years ago in The Last of Us DLC, Left Behind. And I will discuss this a bit later, but it is also possible that this is just a completely random new character. But if I'm being honest with you, based on previous trailers, I have no idea why Ellie would be looking for any one character in particular, aside from wanting to kill them. If she just wanted to run up on the WLF and catch a body, that would be one thing, so it's curious that she actually seems to want something specific from her. Because while they've shown us a lot of footage, context matters, and they understand that. Because without context, there's a lot of room left for mystery and speculation as to what exactly happens. Like, for example, it's interesting how they dedicated an entire E3 trailer to introducing the character of Dina as a love interest for Ellie, and then leave very heavy implications that she's killed off early in the game. But if Dina is killed off the way the trailers would have you think, then why would they show it in the first place? That's what leads to a lot of people to speculate that she may not be dead at all, but instead be captured or possibly be the secret antagonist of the game. But back to Nora. Let's look at how it might make sense for her to actually be Riley or connected to her in some way. Now, a lot of people have two main reasons for speculating that Nora might be Riley. Number one, Ellie asks if Nora remembers her, indicating that they have some type of history in the new state of play. Number two, and let's just be honest, she's a black girl. And as a bonus, she seems about the same age as Ellie. Now obviously the weakest of these theories is the second one. Now while there hasn't exactly been an abundance of teenage black girls in the series, there's also no reason why there wouldn't be plenty of others in this world or in America as a whole, kind of like things are in real life. What really would have been a smoking gun is if her hands were covered like she was wearing gloves or something, kind of like how Ellie hides her bite with her tattoo. But no. We do get to see her hands in the new state of play, but it's kind of dark, so we're not entirely sure. Otherwise, we should have still been able to see Riley's bite mark on her hand. So why does any of this even matter? Well, let me ask you this. Why is Ellie immune? Why can't she be infected? These questions formed the entire basis of the first game, and were never really given a clear answer aside from,
the doctors tell me the cordyceps, the growth inside her, has somehow mutated. It's why she's immune.
the cordyceps inside her has somehow mutated. It's why she's immune. Kind of vague if we're being honest. But that begs the question as to what is so special about Ellie in the first place that this thing has been mutated inside of her specifically to make her invulnerable to becoming infected. And my theory is that maybe there's nothing special about her at all, but rather there was something special about the infected that bit her in that mall all those years ago. Something special about that infected that granted her this immunity. And who was the only other person at that moment who could have possibly had any sort of interaction with that infected? That's right, Riley, who we knew got bit just at about the same time as Ellie did. Granted, this theory doesn't actually require that the two of them were initially bitten by the same infected person, but simply that they were bitten by the same herd of runners, all of whom could have had special aspects to them that was passed on to both of them. Now, of course, there's this one major caveat to this theory, and that's that Ellie confirmed at the very end of The Last of Us Part 1 that Riley had died back in that mall.
Back in Boston? Back when I was bitten? I wasn't alone. My best friend was there. And she got bit too. We didn't know what to do. So... she says... let's just wait it out. You know, we can be all poetic and just lose our minds together. I'm still waiting for my turn.
Ellie.
Her name was Riley, and she was the first to die.
but we never actually get to see that moment on screen. Instead, the DLC Left Behind ends with the two of them sharing a moment where they decide, well, I'll just let you hear it for yourself.
The way I see it, we got two options. Option one, you take the easy way out. It's quick and painless. I'm not a fan of option one. Let's just wait it out. You know, we can be all poetic and just lose our minds together.
So we never actually get to see her die in the DLC. So the question is, what happened that could possibly make Ellie assume that Riley was dead? And my theory is that instead of Riley eventually turning and forcing Ellie to put her down, the two of them were possibly faced with even more trouble in their final moments together, with some kind of event or danger that caused the two of them to be separated, and for Ellie to reasonably assume that Riley was gone for good. And maybe this said traumatic event also resulted in Riley losing her memory, and instead of reuniting with Ellie or even Marlene, she wound up in the care of this new mysterious organization known as the WLF. This theory would also be a perfect explanation as to the way Ellie chooses to address her in the new state of play. Like, what importance could she possibly have? Whoever this girl is, why wouldn't Ellie just want to kill her? Why would she be interested in this one person aside from revenge, based on everything we've seen in the promotion for this game so far?
I'm gonna find. And I'm gonna kill. Every last one of them.
A previous trailer for the game even shows Ellie being trapped in a cabin in the woods. But I always found it interesting how she seemed to have a clear shot at her enemies when she first opened the cannon, but hesitated for a second, indicating that there was something preventing her from initially shooting, and that's what caused her to get caught. At first I thought this could be Dina or something, held captive by the WLF, but it could very well be Nora as well, whom Ellie recognized as Riley. And maybe the WLF then recognized this connection and decided to take their own teammate hostage to get into Ellie's head. And maybe Riley also recognizes her in some small significant way, but not enough to prevent her from betraying Ellie and allowing her group to harm her in whatever way they end up harming her, as we can see in the trailers.
Please stop. No.
Which is why she's so cold to her in the new state of play. And in response to her former best friend supposedly not remembering her before and now having her at gunpoint, she asks yet again,
You remember me?
and maybe after she'll demand answers.
Yeah. You remember me.
And the last point that gives credence to this theory is the very title of the DLC itself, Left Behind, which could be a secret reference to how Ellie assumed that Riley was dead before going on her journey and unknowingly abandoning Riley in the mall, who was also immune yet ultimately left behind. And that's that. Look at all this proof. But after all I've said, if I'm being honest with you, I don't think this is Riley. Look, I think doing theory videos like this are a lot of fun, but if we're being honest, they rarely ever end up coming true, regardless of how sweetly everything seems to line up. This theory also comes with its own flaws. Just to name a few, the person who did the original mocap for Riley in the Left Behind DLC is an actress called Yanni King. And I've literally heard no news or info of her being remotely involved with The Last of Us Part 2 in any way whatsoever. I even checked some of her socials for any info and I got nothing. And you know, if she was involved, it would be pretty big news to say the least. Although it's also possible that Naughty Dog anticipated this and decided to recast her to avoid suspicion. Some other issues include that it runs the risk of removing a lot of the emotional weight that Riley's death had in the DLC, not to mention that characters getting amnesia is universally considered one of the worst plot devices in writing history.
Hey, buddy. Hey. Hit my head.
Yeah.
Doctor said I was in an accident. Hit and run. I don't remember much of anything.
Bruh.
So, for the sake of not being anticlimactic, I'm going to briefly discuss two more simple theories on who this potentially brand new character could be. And the first one is kind of funny because I just joked a few minutes ago about how people assume this character has anything to do with Riley purely based on her being black.
Put that shit down.
But I think it's possible that Nora could share some kind of connection to Marlene. Like maybe Marlene is her mother or auntie or something. And Ellie, being close to Marlene, recognized her vaguely from meeting her a while ago or in school or something. One thing I think supports this is that from the little dialogue we get to see between the NPCs as Ellie's sneaking around in the new state of play, is that she seems like she has some kind of weight or authority in this organization, as she appears to storm off from her teammates. Now this can possibly be because she's related to the former leader of the Fireflies, hence why Ellie doesn't just kill her, because Marlene was like family to Ellie. The WLF may also be in conflict with her in this game as revenge for what Joel did to Marlene and the Fireflies way back in the day, which is clearly going to play a huge role in this story.
I don't know what happened. I was supposed to take her to the Fireflies and walk away. They were actually going to make a cure. The only catch, it would kill her.
And of course there's also the most boneless prediction I can think of, which is that Ellie doesn't know who this person is from back in the day, but she is important, maybe the leader of the section of the WLF or something, and Ellie just recognizes her from the beginning of the game in the cabin. It's kind of boring, but I also feel like this or the Marlene theory are the most likely to be true. And the end. Thank you for watching my YouTube video. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more The Last of Us and gaming related content. But remember not to look at the comments because there might be spoilers. But for those brave souls who dare to test the odds, please let me know all your thoughts on my theories today. This has been The Great Escape YouTube channel, and I'll see you next time. Take care.